Hey, there we are. Hello, everybody. Again, this is Lew White and Dan Lachendro, right here on your left.
Hey
Say,
Lou, how you doing?
we're doing great, Dan. So,
That's good.
what are we going to talk about today? You think? What should we start off with?
Well, last time you and I talked, I don't think we recorded, but we left off our last discussion with a question. And it's, is religion man-made? And if it is, what's its purpose? Could it be calculated to deceive even the elect? So what then actually is religion? Could it simply be man's attempt to reconnect with his Creator? And if so, what's it predicated on? Truth or tradition? Remember, we're the servants of the one we obey. Remember back when Yahushua spoke to the teachers or pastors of the day, what did he have a problem with? Matthew 15:7-9 gives us a bit to chew on. So, when we stop and look around at what's going on in the religious circles, I think we can both agree there's something that's not quite right. But I think that, there's more and more people that they're kind of sensing this, and, they're looking for answers. The question is, are they getting answers based on truth or tradition? Truth, being reality because it's self-evident and it'll stand the test of time, but tradition being no more than religion based on men's ideas that are always changing as time advances. If we look at Romans 10:14, it asks several pertinent questions, things that need to be taught by those who teach from the Kitab Hamed, or the Scripture of Truth. And, this is what Yahuwah is doing through his Torah-observant followers today. And I like what you wrote in the article, Steeple People. Babel is about to fall. Don't let it fall on you. I think that's something that's, we really need to look at this stuff. And what are we doing here? What are people doing out here? Are they getting answers, from truth, or is it just simply more tradition? What do you think, Lou?
Absolutely, it is tradition that they practice, and they don't do anything. The simple believes every word that they hear, but the clever one watches his steps. That's Proverbs 14:15. And what we're obligated to do is to prove the things that we are hearing from the written word.
Well, that's right. And, I think a lot of people were basically in I guess what you call a comfort zone. If you're comfortable in your religious belief, there could be a problem there because, religion is about keeping people comfortable in a belief system. But truth, it's calling you out. It's calling you to make a stand for what you know is true. And that's something that we need to be looking at today because, time is getting short. And the day of Yahuwah is approaching, whether, we know it or not. So we got to be looking in the right direction here.
Yeah, and if Paul wrote to the Ephesians in chapter 5, verse 12, that the disobedient are doing things in secret, and it's shameful even to speak of the things that they do in secret, and the secrets that are underneath the crust of the new reason that they've given some things. The syncretism is basically, like you were talking earlier, it's making stuff mean other stuff. So the steeples actually meant something before that Yahuwah still remembers, and it's just wrong. There's a lot of people that are unaware of what steeples are, and it's important that they know. These things that are steeple-like things are, I'm going to hold up this picture of various things. There's steeples, trees, obelisks, and MAY poles and things. And if they want to get this downloaded from lamblegacy.com or torazone.net, that would be good. It's not going to cost you anything. Just to download the article and share it. Anyway, I wanted to bring this up too. I had mentioned earlier the Proverbs 28 verse 4. This is really interesting. And it is that those that forsake Torah praise the wrong, and those guarding Torah strive against them. And it kind of lines up with Revelation 12, verse 17, where the dragon is enraged at the woman and her offspring, and those that guard the commandments and hold to the testimony of Yahusha. Yahusha, who's that? Well, I'm going to hold up this little sign that says Google Yahusha. People don't even know this word. I mean, what happened? Yahusha is on the back of my shirt. Did you get those shirts that I sent you?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I had a fella that wanted this same one that I'm wearing here in the video, the same ones that I sent to you. These things, if you ordered if a person ordered 3 of these things, you could wear them constantly all around. People are in the store, and I'm like at the grocery or the post office or wherever I'm at. I went to the hardware store the other day, and people in line behind me were talking as they walked up, but then after they walked up, they started to get real quiet, because on the back of the back of my shirt, and I went to go have Phyllis's tire checked yesterday, and I was standing there waiting for about 10 minutes at least, and there was a room full of people, and they were all sitting there waiting for their car to get worked on, and anyway, they all got real quiet. They were reading the back of my shirt while I was standing in front of them, and they were sitting there along the seating, and they're being exposed to something they've never heard before, and that's what we're here to do. We're not here to argue and make people feel guilty.
Oh no, not at all.
But
the funny thing is when Gina and I, we went to the county fair. It was a couple weeks ago, and of course we wore a shirt, and I noticed, you could feel the people looking at the back of it, and it was a good idea to do that because, when you have something on the front of your shirt, people are afraid of making eye contact. If they read something, they kind of don't want to look at you, but they'll stare at your back.
Yeah.
And, that's like a lot of things when I used to go to the organized religion, in the meeting houses, you could feel people staring at you, and you always looked at the back of everybody's head, and, if they had dandruff or some silly thing like that.
Yeah.
But, so people will look at it if it's on your back, and they won't feel like in the spotlight if they do. So I think that's a really good idea. And, people, our eyes, the way our eyes work, all we have to do is see something one time, and our brain records it. So, at a later date, maybe, if it doesn't have an effect on them right away, they may see it again, and it might, click. Hey, I saw that before. What's that mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to look into that. And, that's what we're trying to do, get people to acknowledge it. And that's what it's about.
Yeah, and these steeples are a strange fire that they build, and they put them on these things, and yet there's domes and spires and all this stuff in these other religious groups too, and they're not related to anything to do with Yahusha. Can you imagine Yahusha saying, oh yeah, I used to hate those things, and now I really like them because they're all about me, aren't they? Did he tell us to build steeples anywhere? He said not to. Leviticus, or Uikra, chapter 26, verse 1, says, do not build any pillars in your land. Well, does that mean because we're not in our land, that we can build them? No. This is our land. Wherever our foot finds to stand, it belongs to us. And this is our land. Wherever we are, we're scattered, but... So you can still hear me, Dan?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
I hear you loud and clear.
Good.
Well, those who refuse, to worship him as the way he told us, and they prefer men's teachings in place of truth, they're eating wormwood.
Yep. He fed it to them because they wouldn't obey his commandments, which are easy, his commandments of love, and therefore they're eating wormwood, which is the hard way, and it's expensive too. taking down one set of decorations and putting up another, and it's all fertility, all of it.
Yeah, that's all it is.
You see, their eyes are blinded because they don't know what their objects of worship mean. They think it's about Yahusha, but it isn't. Well, they don't even really know his name, so.
Well, and then they get the idea or the position sometimes, and they stand really firm by it that, well, he knows what I mean, and, you know, it doesn't matter that we know his name. You know, he knows what we're talking about. Well, you know, if you want to have a relationship with someone, you know, you want to know their name. You want to call on their name, and you want to get it right out of respect.
Yes.
And, you know, we need to think about that. And another thing, too, is the name J-E-S-U-S. Well, we know it's you know, less than 500 years old, so how could that possibly be his true name? It's not even Hebrew. It doesn't mean anything.
It was invented by Mysticos.
Acts 4:12 is, you know, glaring.
Yeah. When I first read that, I went, what?
Yeah.
This is serious, you know, and I took it seriously. So, yeah.
And the riddle of Proverbs 30, verse 4, that's what got me.
Yes. That is very important. And that's because they were, you know, there's something in the world that wants to be worshipped in place of him. And it is a spiritual battle. I was talking to a witch yesterday, and I didn't even know it. But I said, "What is that you're? What were you talking about?" She mentioned something. She was looking for something in a store, and she said, "Yeah, I use those things for." She said, "Do you know what kind of feather this is?" And I said, "No, not sure, but it looks a lot like a turkey feather." And she said, "Well, I'm looking for a particular feather in order to wave that smudge smoke around."
No.
Really? And I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
And so she probably, I wasn't mean to her at all. I just went, "Well, I better go find a vacuum cleaner bag."
Wouldn't it be nice if the Christians as a whole would just give the witches back their holy days and their implements of worship?
Wouldn't it? And then not feel like, they'd feel like we do, that your relationship with him is not only closer, because he said, if you want to be closer to me, draw closer to me, and I will draw closer to you. Right. But they're not told to do that. They're said, no, you stay away from those quote-unquote Jewish behaviors. And I'm not talking about wearing domed hats or putting on blankets. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just do his commandments, guard his commandments. What did he say he likes? What does he like?
Right. Yeah.
I love his commandments.
I mean, what would he do if he was walking among us today? I think a lot of people would be very shocked.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah. Even the disciples from that time, they wouldn't come near a place that had a steeple on it.
No. They would, the environment that we're in, the religious environment. We're not religious. We're following Torah, which is not a religion, it's a relationship. And we keep saying that over and over. But they think that we're legalists. We want to be legal. That's what we want to be. We don't want to be illegal. So how do you find out? Well, you have to sow the word in your heart. Let him read it. If you don't know what his word says, then you'll not know him. Because how can you know him if you don't know what he wrote?
That's right. And for those folks that insist on, well, we don't speak Hebrew, we speak English. But they live in America, and they say America, and America's not an English word.
No.
So it's like, okay.
Well, J-E-S-U-S isn't English either.
No, it's not.
His name is Yahusha.
A Greek Latinism or something like that?
It's a fusion of, it's actually invented by mystagogues that hid the name in a Christogram. They call them Christograms. They're to hide the name of their deities. And they don't reveal what the deity's name is until they're very, very higher up in the level. But then the Catholics in 2008, the Pope at that time issued a bull that, that prohibited anyone using the Tetragrammaton as it's expressed in the Hebrew in worship or prayer or song. And so they basically prohibited anyone from saying the name.
And you know, that happened how many thousands of years ago too?
Yeah.
It was suppressing the true name.
Yirmiyahu said it's burning like fire in my bones. I can't hold it back.
No.
You know, if you read
And
it,
that's where we're at
chapter
today.
20.
We can't hold it back either. You know, the
Yirmiyahu.
Nazarene are crying out on the hills of Ephraim.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let's assume that we've got enough here. Yeah, we've got 16 minutes, so we're. If you want to wrap it up, Dan, and with a final thought.
Well, we just got to keep seeking after the truth and listening to what men are saying.
Yeah.
We have to be like the Bereans and check everything out against Scripture, against Torah, and see if it really is truth or just tradition.
That's right. Well, thank you all for listening, and thank you, Dan. This is really nice of you to visit with us once a month. So we'll talk to you all again, and we'll see you in the next one. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that little bell that's up there to notice when we get new uploads. Bye now.